and play around a little bit. So nothing formal here, kind of geeking out a little bit. And, you know, we've got some new features that we rolled out, so I've been playing with those. And sorry, I'm eating some macadamia nuts while I'm talking to you, so I apologize for the chewing in your ear. I'll try to keep that to a minimum. But anyways, so yeah, I just figured I'd jump in here real quick and show you guys what I've been up to, anybody who decides or cares to show up, and maybe give you some cool stuff that you can use in your business, some ideas. If you use Hot Prospector, great. If you don't use Hot Prospector, you might be able to figure out some ways to use some of the things I'm talking about in some other ways. So I guess I'll just start off with a question, since this is kind of just impromptu and no real plan. What kind of business are you in? Just put something in the chat. Anything. Tell me what you're doing, what you're selling. If you're a you're okay. Don says he does local leads. Don, are you selling like leads to businesses? Boyd's doing video marketing for elective surgery, cosmetic. And Carrie is doing beacon marketing. Now, if I'm familiar with the beacon marketing, I'm assuming it's these little Bluetooth devices that basically blast out a Bluetooth signal or some sort of a link to people's phones if they're in proximity. Is that what that is? Yes, but we set up store. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I guess let's start with Don. Don, tell me, with regard to the local leads that you're doing, do you just sell to any kind of business, or do you have a specific niche? Matter of fact, Don, if you have a mic, can I pull you on? Make it a little bit easier. No mic. Okay. So what kind of businesses are you working with, Don? Or do you just pretty much work with any vertical? Pest control. Okay. So consumers. And what are you primarily using to generate leads for those verticals right now? Google Ads. Okay. And anything else, or is it just primarily Google Ads? Some SEO? How's that working for you? I mean, good. Could you use a boost? Are you looking for other things to pull in more leads? You always use a boost. Okay, I guess that was probably a stupid question. Ask a stupid question, you get a equally stupid answer, because there you go. I'm looking at the response. I shouldn't have even asked. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so pest control. Now, do you have any challenges with getting in front of pest control companies? Are you looking for more pest control companies as well? Or are you just looking for just to get leads because you have plenty of customers? The real problem is getting customer leads are easy. Okay. Well, let me ask you this, and this is probably not what I intended when I said, hey, let's start this webinar, but when you say that you have trouble getting a customer, what led you to the pest control niche? Gosh, I really wish you had a mic. Maybe you can call in to the audio. You can call in. instead of just being on your computer. It'd be really awesome. You had to pick something. Okay. Well, if you're interested in calling in and talking to me a little bit more about that, I could probably help you in that arena. So, CAM, CAM, I'm not sure what that means. Oh, gotcha. Can't. So, you know, I'm just going to give you my take on this for what it's worth. Now, do you have a lot of customers, Don? Or not a lot of customers, but handful. Like, how many do you have? 4 to 5. And how many leads are you generating for them right now? $10 to $50 a week. And what do you get paid per lead? So those are some pretty big ranges. I'm going to go with the high end just because. So you gave me a $7 to $15 per lead range and 10 to 50 leads a week. Now, is that per client or is that just total? 10 to 50 leads a week and $7 to $15 per lead. Is that per client or is that total? Total. Okay. So what's your cost to generate that, or is that $7 to $15 your profit? Cost varies, but about 50%. Man, look, I have to tell you that, you know, these are some dismal margins, and it seems as though unless you're operating at a much bigger scale, that this is a very, 50% margins. I mean, you know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist with math, but that's not $1,500. I don't know where that came from. What is that, 325 bucks? No, I'm sorry, I'm horrible with math. Yeah, 375 bucks, right? $375 per week. And that's with 4 to 5 customers. At those numbers, I mean, you're making $350, $400 a month, and that's on the high end. That's using the high end. So I mean, personally myself, I think I might look for a different kind of niche where you might be able to make a little bit higher revenue. Have you looked into some other verticals? Yes. Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna. I don't want to put you on the spot, Don. So I'm gonna talk. I guess we'll talk a little bit about some other verticals that I personally have been having some success in. One of the verticals that we primarily, I like to stay in verticals where the profit on the lead is higher because the client that I'm working for has a, you know, they have a beefy margin themselves. If they make a good amount of money, when I sell them a lead, I can charge a lot more, right? If they don't make a lot of money, then I can't charge them as much. That's the basic premise of it, right? So let's think of it this way. Automotive, right? I work in automotive, been working automotive for a couple of years pretty heavily. Before that, I did contractors, but I only worked with contractors that had a high ticket. So roofing contractors, for example, or maybe even general contractors. But another vertical that we just recently jumped into is mortgage. And the reason why we'd like these three verticals is because each of those verticals have such a high margin that it's very easy for us to make our, what we want per lead. Or in our case, we don't really charge per lead. We run campaigns for our customers. Mark, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll try my best to record it. I just don't know if I'm going to send it out. What I might do is just put it on my YouTube channel. So for those of you that want to see this and other stuff I've got, just go to my YouTube channel. It's, I'll just show you how to go there. YouTube.com. Actually, you know what? I'll show you how to go there if you don't know, if you want to just find the easy way. Mark Helton. You type in Mark Helton, Hot Prospector. There you go. There I am. Just go ahead and click on me. Make sure you subscribe too, because I do drop stuff out all the time. But anyway, so personally myself, like I said, I like those higher end verticals because the money is much, much better. You make a lot of, you have room for error. If you give somebody 10 leads and they only close one of them, well, then you win, right? I mean, they're going to be happy. But if you send 10 leads and you're charging $15 a lead for pest control and they don't close anything, or they close one deal, then they might not continue to buy leads from you because they need a higher conversion for it to make sense for them, right? So anyways, let's talk about some of the things that we're doing, and I'll show you some ways that I'm doing it here inside the system. Can everybody see my screen, by the way? I didn't even ask. Can you see my screen okay? Yes. Okay, cool. So what we do for mortgage, for example, is we work with lead vendors that have leads that are internet-based leads, right? People have gone online and filled out a form online and requested some information about refinancing their home, or in some cases purchasing a home, okay? But mostly we're working with refinance. And what we're doing is we're contacting those leads for them. Now, has anybody ever purchased leads before? Like online type leads? They're called real-time leads most of the time. Has anybody ever bought real-time online leads? No's, yeses? Okay. We got kind of a 50-50 here. Okay, so look. The big thing that you're going to hear when even if you went and researched like different lead companies, you're going to hear a couple of different things. One, they're costly. And two, you know what? Anybody here care to just say what they think the second thing that you're going to hear most of the time from people who buy leads? If you sell leads, you know what it's going to be. Exactly. They suck, right? They're not qualified. There's all kinds of things that people have, complaints about them, right? But I think the real reason why, and I'm sure most of you guys can probably relate to this, the real reason why people who buy leads complain about them is because, complain about the quality is because they pay so much, right? I mean, if they weren't paying a lot of money for the leads and they were connecting with these people and they were getting a decent, answer rate and conversion, then they'd be all good, right? So we come up with a solution for that. And what we're doing is we're not buying leads that are brand new. We're buying the leads that are older. They're called like aged leads. Has anybody ever heard of aged internet leads before? Or aged they're not real-time leads, just aged internet leads. Okay, Don says yes. Rick says no. Rick, aren't you in insurance business, Rick? What do you do, Rick? I don't know why I thought I remembered you being in insurance. So, for example, aged leads. Okay, well, Rick, you're going to love this then, because Rick says he's retired and he's just figuring this stuff out. This is easy. This is the easiest thing in the world. I'm going to show you a friend of mine who actually is a, hold on a second. This is a friend of mine who's actually a white label of mine. He has a white label version of our Hot Prospector system, but Aged Lead Store, okay? So these guys sell leads to automotive, health insurance, life insurance, homeowners insurance, annuity, all these different types of insurance, or well, insurance, and then also they have mortgage as well. But all these different types of insurance products they sell leads for. So imagine, okay, and I was actually talking about mortgage. I'm getting off topic a little bit, but this is life insurance is another really easy one. Okay, matter of fact, we'll switch this up to life insurance because it's so easy. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you guys a whole business model, how you can go and make money like right away, instantly, literally. This is like, you don't have to wait for Google. You don't have to wait for, the SEO. You don't have to wait for, or you don't have to spend any money on ads and hope you're going to get leads. I'm going to just show you a quick way to make money. Okay. You can go to a company like Age Lead Store, and there's a bunch of them. I'm not just promoting this guy because he's a friend of mine and he's a white label of ours, but you can go to any age lead company store, and you can even go to LinkedIn. They have different groups where they sell these kind of leads. But you go and you pick up the list. Now, assuming you have a customer already, right? You have an insurance agent that you're working for, but you pick up a list. Let's say health insurance, for example. That's a good one. Or life insurance. That's even better. Pretty decent margins on life insurance. But here you go. I'm inside of the lead types here. Now, if you notice, the real-time lead normally costs like $20, $25, depending on what kind of a vertical, $40, could be a lot more, right? But aged leads, look at this. I'm looking at 31-day-old leads for $1. And if you buy more of them, they're cheaper. But here's a little secret. You actually can get, with especially with life insurance, you can get just as good a result hitting the 86 to 365-day-old leads than you could with the 31 to 85. So basically, what you do is you get this list, and we'll just say, let's say you grab 1,000 of these, right? They're 30 cents a piece. What is that? $300, right? You spend $300 on leads where people went and look at this. This is here's a sample of what information is available. I don't know if you guys can see that real well. I'll zoom in. I'll see if I can zoom in. I don't know if I can. Yeah, it doesn't zoom in real well, but this first column is the name, then the address, then the city, state, zip, home phone, work phone, cell phone, email, date, their IP address. So you're 100% opt-in, so you're cool with canned spam and all that good stuff. Date of birth, their gender, their height, their all the stuff that you would need to sell them a life insurance policy, right? So if you're a life insurance agent right now, you're probably saying, wow, this is great. I didn't know I could buy leads that cheap. But the problem is, well, who's going to call 1,000 leads to try to find the ones that maybe didn't get a policy or were not happy with the policy that they got? Anybody here want to do that? If you don't want to do that, put a no in the chat box. Of course not, right? Nobody wants to do that. So what we do is we take that list and we load it into our system, right? And what Hot Prospector does, if you're not familiar with it, we send out a voicemail, a ringless voicemail, a text message, and an email. But not just a voicemail and a text message and an email. We actually set up with follow-ups, automatic follow-ups that will continue to message these leads until they reply. Because I'm kind of giving you like the short version of this, but the problem with most of these leads, I guarantee you that 80% of these people weren't even contacted. And that's a shocking, staggering number, but it's true. 80% of those people were likely not even contacted because the person who bought the lead didn't try enough. You know, usually those people are busy and that kind of thing, and they don't always answer their phone. And they say statistically, if you make a phone call to somebody, 85% of the time it's going to go to voicemail. And the average salesperson will only make one attempt. And here's what's even funnier. A lot of times they won't even leave a voicemail. So who's going to pay $25, $30, $40, $50 for a lead, call it once, and never leave them a voicemail? You would think nobody, right? And nobody in their right mind, but a lot of them do. So anyways, what I'm getting at here is that this lead right here, 80% of them likely weren't even contacted. So you put them into the system and you hit them with the voicemail, you hit them with the text message, you hit them with an email, you hit them with all those communications until they respond. And what do you think you spit out in return? Anyone care to guess? Phone calls. Real-time leads. There you go. Real-time leads, better than a real-time lead. These are verified, interested people that are calling you. Now, what are those leads worth? Oh, let's go look. Let's see if we can find something on good old Google. Let's do live transfer insurance leads. Probably not going to have the pricing on here. Here we go, pricing. No pricing. I know from friends of mine that, you know, 40, 50 bucks for a live inbound call is definitely possible to get from an insurance agent. Now, as far as like real estate, you could pay even more, or mortgage, sorry, not real estate. Mortgage, they'll pay even more, $75 to $90 for a real-time transfer lead or a live transfer lead. So what is that, right? That's somebody that received a voicemail from you, received a text message from you, received an email from you saying, hey, are you still interested in, and this is like my favorite template. Let's see. I'm just see if I can write one here for you. Grab my notepad. So, are you still interested in saving money on your life insurance? Or maybe, are you still interested in improving your life insurance coverage with a better premium? Something like that. Tom says, is it illegal to send the text message if they have not requested it? Tom, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. Now, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give you legal advice. But what I will tell you is you can purchase TCPA, which is what you're talking about, TCPA compliant leads. TCPA compliant leads. So Telephone Consumer Protection Act protects consumers from unsolicited calls, texts, and emails, right? So if you want to make sure you cover your butt, the first thing I would do is make sure that the leads that you're purchasing from are TCPA compliant. And you can ask the lead provider, they'll tell you. If they're not TCPA compliant, then yeah, you're definitely running the risk there. There's other options that you can do as long as you have permission to contact them, because they've they've opted in, there's other ways where you can actually send a manual text message to a person, as you know, it's not doing it automatically, but you can still do it manually. And by the way, hiring a virtual assistant, which is something we do a lot of here, we do lease out virtual assistants. So if you're looking for a VA, let me know. But you can get a virtual assistant to send those text messages, and it might as well be automatic because the cost is so low and it's manual, so you're not breaking any laws. As long as they're not on the do not call list or they've opted in, you're okay, right? Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not trying to give you legal advice. You want to check with your attorney if you're still concerned about it, but that's the way that works. So hopefully that helped answer your question. But yeah, so you take a simple script like what I just said, you can text them that, or you can call them that, you can email them that. You take something as basic as this, and guess what will happen? People will respond in droves. Like you will get a landslide of leads. If you take 1,000 leads and you put them into the system, and again, we're not just touching our people once, right? So check this out. If I'm going to send out a text message, I'm going to go in here. So we have these different kinds of campaigns. I'm going to go in and I'm going to create what we call a broadcast and follow-up. So a broadcast and follow-up is simple, right? It means we'll send out one broadcast message. That's the first message, and then follow-ups. And follow-up messages, you could send as many follow-ups as you want. Okay, so let's just do a test. Now, I can insert their token, their name. So for example, if I got their name, which is going to make this better, right? I put in first name, and then I'll just take this text here, put it in here. Oops. John, are you still interested in improving your life insurance coverage with a better premium, you know, or less expensive, or no, and life insurance and lower premium, or better yet, if they don't know what that means, rate. There you go. Are you still interested in improving your life insurance coverage and with a lower rate? There you go. That's pretty good. And then I might throw in my name and company at Best Life. There you go. All right. I set that up, and then here I can actually do a throttle. What a throttle does is it allows me to say, okay, look, if I sent out 1,000 text messages, like really right now, if I sent out 1,000 text messages, my open rate, well, you know, your open rate on a text message is 97%. That's the industry standard. I don't know who figured that out, but it seems to be that high because the response rate's really high too, depending on your message. But 97%, let's say, and let's say that out of the 97% that open it up, let's say that 25 or 30% of them respond. That's a typical number, depending on the quality of the lead. So you can get a couple hundred voicemail or text messages back instantly. And the question, the message that you're getting back, it's going to be, some of them are going to be, yeah. Some of them are going to be, nah, I'm already done. Some people are going to say, what kind of rate? Some people are going to be like, nah, you know, leave me alone. You know, you'll get some of those. But for the most part, very little negativity. Most of it's going to be positive. So anyways, the reason why we have the throttle here is because if you're going to get, who can handle 300 text messages in like 10 minutes? That would be ridiculous for anybody. I don't care. Even if you have like a team of people answering them, that's too much. So what we do is we have these throttles. So you could set it up to where like every 60 minutes, it only sends out 25 text messages. Or every, you know, if you really have a large team and you want to bang them out real quick, every 15 minutes, you could send 500. Does anybody think that's cool, or is it just me? I think it's cool because it works really well. We do this for our car dealerships. We do this for our mortgage brokers. We do this for our real estate agents. We do this for all the companies that we're working with. And they love it. We run these campaigns for customers, by the way. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, how do I make money with this? Okay, well, one, you can buy the leads or you can sell them, send them the place to find the leads. Or these businesses a lot of times have their own data. So you don't even have to pay for leads. They could just give you their database. Now you're cool, right? As long as they've gotten the permissions and you're cool, and you could just load those leads in and you don't have to pay for leads. And those, believe it or not, businesses do a very poor job of managing their database, their clients. Horrible job. So you take their database, put it into the system, and you can message them for them on their behalf. And then you're getting them business and you're getting paid for it. Just to give you an idea, in case you're curious, like what do we charge? Like if we're running a campaign for somebody, we may charge like between $1 to $2.50 per contact. So if a client gave me 1,000 records, that's easily going to be $2,500 for a campaign. Now, Don, let me ask you a question. If you could make $2,500, I know earlier you were just telling me you're making $300. It broke down to about $100 a week or less than $100 a week per client. If you could do this actually less work and not have to do all the pay Google and all that stuff and generate better responses for your customers and make more money, would you do it? Obviously, right? So look, $2,500. You're probably wondering, well, what's my profit on that? So text messages cost like a couple cents. So if you send out 1,000 text messages, you do the math. And I'm just talking about text messages. Now, it's not just text messages, right? Let me go ahead and finish scheduling this campaign so you can see what I'm talking about here. So we're going to schedule this for the 24th, just so I can make sure it doesn't go out. Now, the other thing that's cool, besides the fact that we do these throttles, we also have something called time constraints, okay? Because, hey, who works 24 hours a day? And on top of that, you're not supposed to be sending out messages all hours a day anyways, right? 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., I think it is. I usually don't send it out any earlier than 9. So like 9 a.m. to, 8 p.m. is my ideal time that I send out messages or make calls. So you don't want to be sending out messages all the time, right? So we have these time constraints that you can set up where you can block out holidays, so Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff. It'll automatically shut off. But you can also schedule times of the day that you want this thing to run. So if you got 25 messages going out every 15 minutes or every hour, it'll automatically batch them out. And then you could say, I'm only working from 12 p.m., or maybe 1 p.m. I took a lunch, and then I get off at 5, so I'm going to stop messaging at 4, so I make sure I can handle any responses I get over that last hour. And so if you do that, you can schedule it, hit the save button. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then once you create this, now you've got your first message set up. The time zone is right here inside your profile. So you set the time zone, Steve, up here in your profile. So anyway, so that's set up. And then if I want to do follow-ups, now key is follow-up. Remember what I was telling everybody earlier? I was saying that if you touch somebody once, then your response rate's not going to be as good as it would be if you were to touch somebody 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Matter of fact, the magic number is like 12 to 15 times, right? Well, all you have to do is schedule a follow-up. The schedule of the follow-up can be whenever you want. Let's say, like I think the first one we had was on the 24th, so we're going to schedule the follow-up on the 25th, right? And we'll just say, never heard back. Actually, you know what? I hate doing that. As a matter of fact, when people send those kind of emails, it drives me insane. I've got a great idea to help you drop your insurance, no, your life, I want to make sure we say life insurance cost and bump your coverage. Whoops. Can you talk? And then just, again, I always like to sign out with my name because why? Because they always like, oh, who is this? If they don't know you. And we'll call this Best Life. Right? There you go. So go ahead and once you've done that, just go ahead and click submit. Now, I don't want to send that out at 8 o'clock. I want to start that to go out around the same time as the other one. So we'll click submit. Now check this out. You're probably thinking, well, wait a second. What about if we had the time constraint set on this message here, the first one, right? Oh, I forgot to add the first name in there. There we go. I like you want to personalize it because it looks like you did it, personally, right? But anyways, so let's say that you send out that first message on the 24th here, and you have a throttle set to where it's sending out like 15 messages every what was the throttle here? Every 15 minutes it's sending out 25 messages, or let's say every hour or every 30 minutes. 30 minutes, that's good. That's 50 messages an hour. Let's say you had it set to that. Well, what would happen if that was not finished completing sending out to those 1,000 people on day 2? Well, what our system does is it automatically will start the next one the next day, even though this one's still going. It'll just message the ones that received their message the first day. So now let's say that this campaign, this first one, took like 4 days to finish. Well, then the people that are in the second sequence wouldn't get their message until the day after they got their first message. So it's smart like that. It automatically does it. But what's cool about our follow-up is it automatically stops messaging them. You could have 10 of these messages in here, but it'll automatically stop messaging them when they reply. So if they hit a response, now up here in your text messages, you'll see, hey, whatever it is, like this guy responded with his phone number. You can have a communication with them. I don't want to open that one because it might be one of my salespeople's leads. But whenever they open it up, you can then just have a conversation in here. Type in whatever you want, hit send, or if you have a template that you use for responding, you can select that and hit send. And then let's say you're on the phone, or they say, call me. They call me. Okay, fine, I'll call you, right? Rather than having to go into another system, you just click on the call button here and check it out. Their lead information pops up. Now we're doing some prospecting here for loan officers. By the way, this is killer what I'm showing you here for prospecting for mortgage, insurance, whatever. But this is it, right? You pop it up and then you just click on this little green button here and it'll call them. And, you don't have to go back and forth. But anyways, as I was showing you in the SMS campaign, it's that simple to set it up. I mean, you can just add as many as you want. 10, 15, however many you want. And I know that sounds like a lot, but here's why it's not a lot. Because maybe you set up 5 messages that go out for the first 30 days, and then you just send out 1 message every month for 2-3 years. Like until they say, hey, I'm not interested, or why do you keep messaging me? Because you might touch them in a year or 6 months, and they might be responding at that point. Eric, thank you. Eric says, you're killing it with Hot Prospector. Thank you. We try. Now, texting is cool, right? But voicemail, that's fun, right? You add the text and the voicemail together. What does that do? It makes you have what we call multi-touch prospecting. So if I go in here and I'll do the same type of a campaign, right? We set up a broadcast and follow-up for SMS. We could do the same thing here. So I'm going to click broadcast and follow-up, click add broadcast campaign, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to call this life insurance test. Now, we also do support Europe as well. So if you're in Europe and you're watching this and you're like, but it only works in USA. No, we work in Europe and also the US. And we also work in Australia. So select your group. Select an inbound campaign. Now, why do we want to select an inbound campaign? Well, and I'll show you what our inbound campaigns do in just a minute. But the reason why we do the inbound campaigns is because we're tracking their responses. One, because I want to be able to provide my customers with support, not support, but reporting. But two, I need to know if somebody replies so I can stop sending them messages, right? So we'll just go ahead and select the number. And I'm going to use the same number on my caller ID as my inbound campaign because I want everybody to call back on the right number, right? So 770-629-9878. And then schedule the time. Now, I had this first one set up to go out on the 24th. I'm going to send this one out at the same time. I think that I had the other one set up at 7 because I wasn't paying attention, but we'll just leave this at 8. And then the same thing goes with the throttle. You can set the throttles here, however you want. So throttle, again, for those of you that missed it, if you just came in, basically what a throttle does is it allows you to lessen the speed at which you're sending out these messages because they're so effective. They get such a great response that if you send out too much at once, your phone will be flooded with calls. And that's good, but not back to back. And if you got them coming in back to back, you can't answer them, then you just wasted your money and you wasted your time because then you go from answering calls to responding to calls, which isn't a bad thing, right? I mean, we have ways to make that more efficient too, but it's just, what's the point? If you don't have to do it, don't do it, right? Just slow your thing down. So anyways, you can then either upload a file for a voicemail or you can select a template. And these templates, you could actually record them in our system, or you can call into a number and record them, or you can load your own file. So any way you want to do it. But these templates is, you know, the message that you load here, this is a ringless voicemail, which means the message is being delivered into somebody's phone without them even knowing that it was a ringless message. They didn't miss a call. They just see they missed a call, but they didn't get a call, right? And then we'll go ahead and click submit. So once you've done that, just like with the other, you have the ability to I must not have any leads in there. Oh. Yeah, I must not have any leads in there. But anyways, once you create the campaign, once you've set up the campaign, then literally you could just add in your follow-ups, just like I was showing you in the other one. So it would look something like, almost like these autoresponders. So here you can see, like I'm running a campaign right now for our Facebook loan officer. We're calling loan officers, we're leaving them voicemails, and I've got these 5 different files, and they just automatically drip out. Somebody comes in from Facebook. Oh, that's another thing we'll show you here in a second is in addition to just doing outbound prospecting, you can also set this up to handle all your inbound stuff, like inbound marketing, if you're doing Facebook leads, stuff like that. Brad, so how do the clients handle the callback that don't get the message because that don't get the message, but they got the ring because the system does ring sometimes? I lost all my clients because they all got tired of the mad calls. You know, Brad, I don't really have that challenge. I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't some issues where somebody could be upset here and there from what you're talking about, where a split ring goes out. But the other thing too is that we have that very minimally. I know there's another provider out there, Stratix. We don't use them, but there's another company out there, Stratix, that does get a ring. And if we do get a split ring, it's very rare, and even then, it's never a problem. You know, if you tell your client ahead of time that's possible it can happen, then I guess that would probably alleviate that. But I manage my clients very well. I mean, we've been working with a lot of different clients for the past 2 years. I mean, our agency alone has done a couple hundred car dealerships. Brad, okay, I thought this was Stratix. Great to know. Yeah, we're not Stratix. Stratix is, I mean, they came in and they try to be like cheaper than, the others, or the one that we're using at least. But it turns out that cheaper is not better, right? Anyways, so yeah, that's how you set up an autoresponder or voicemail broadcast or a text broadcast. So email works exactly the same way. We have broadcast emails. So if you wanted to send out a broadcast email, you can go in and just click new, write an email or select a template and hit send. Boom. Or you could set up an autoresponder, which is basically as your leads come in, they get a message. And you could do the same thing. You can set up throttles. So I thought I would tell you guys about some cool stuff. Like, that's just the basics. So does everybody see how you can make money with insurance like that? Or any vertical for that matter. I mean, like, this isn't hard. If you can, you go in, you pay $300 for 1,000 leads. You charge your customer $2,500 and you make their phone ring. It costs you, let's say it costs you $100 to make their phone ring plus $300 for the leads. That's $400. It's not a bad deal. Good margins, and the response that the customer gets is great. They're happy. Everybody's happy. And you don't have to wait for Google. Now, if you're thinking, well, why would I want to, what's the best way to do this? The one, I mean, this is going to be a pitch for Hot Prospector at this point, only because I've never seen another company that does what our system does, plus give you the tracking and that sort of thing. And I'll show you some more stuff here in a second. But you wouldn't want to just send text messages. You wouldn't want to just do voicemails. You wouldn't want to just do emails. You want them all. I'll give you an example. One of my my mortgage companies, he closed 51 loans the very first month that he worked with us on this. And, we did exactly what I just mentioned with the insurance, except for mortgage, for refis. He closed 51 loans, and 11 of the loans that he did came from email. And what's funny is a lot of people will just ignore email altogether. But the reason why our emails convert so much better is two reasons. One, because we let them use their own SMTP or their own email provider, so the delivery rates are higher than everybody else. And number two, because we're doing it behind a text and a voicemail, and we're letting them know we emailed them. So for those that prefer to communicate via email, they can. For those that prefer to respond to a text, they can. If somebody wants to call you, they can. Who here likes to only call businesses? Put a 1 in the chat box. Who here only likes to email businesses? Put a 2 in the chat box. Who here likes to text? Put a 3 in the chat box. Now look, guys, you can't see this, but guess what? There are people in here that have typed in all 3 options. So if you're just using one thing, if you're just using text, or if you're just using voice, or you're just using email, you're missing out on so much business, and so is your clients. And that's just a simple thing to explain. So that's why multi-channel, that's why multi-touch, right? Multiple channels, because your customer wants it, multiple touch, because it takes that many touches to get somebody. Make sense? If so, put oh yeah in the chat box. All right, so let me show you something cool that we have not showed to anybody yet. And some of the guys who are on this probably, let me see if I have any of my white labels in here. No. Well, one. I see one. Two, but they're not paying attention. So I'm going to show them. If they watch this, they're going to be like, wow, and then they're going to probably be asking me tomorrow about it. But check this out. So I got something that nobody else has got on the planet that's about to drop. And it's so, hey, William, I saw you. Now you're paying attention. So who does Facebook ads? Eric says he does. Anybody else? Only Eric. Well, maybe after I show. Oh, sorry. Don says he does. William says he's learning about it. I got some training on my Facebook or my YouTube if you guys want to learn. It's really easy. Hey, Christopher. Okay, so we love Facebook lead ads. It's so easy. By the way, if you go in here to my YouTube channel, let me see here. I'll show you how to find it. By the way, make sure you subscribe. Check it out right here. How to build Facebook lead ads and automate your follow-up with Hot Prospector. So here's a training that I did where I literally show you how to do all that. Like how to target, how to do everything, okay? But anyway, so you got an ad that comes in on Facebook. This is the part that nobody else has, okay? Well, there's two things actually that nobody else has. Number one, when somebody opts in to a Facebook lead ad, does anybody know what a Facebook lead ad is? Actually, I'm sitting here telling you like you guys know. Maybe you don't know. Let me just show you. Facebook lead ad. All right, here we go. So this is the only reason why I just love this image because it explains it so well. So this is a Facebook lead ad. So this is what the ad would look like on your phone or whatever, on your desktop, okay? You have that little subscribe button. When somebody clicks that button, it automatically takes their information from Facebook, whatever's in their profile, and populates the form. And then when they click submit, that information is saved inside of the fan page, right? But you can also connect the software to it, and then it'll send that information to the software like your CRM. So Hot Prospector is connected to, I'll show you how this connects. It's very simple. Hot Prospector is connected to Facebook. So literally, you connect your fan page, like I have here, to a group inside of your system, and then when the leads come in, if you have voicemails and text messages and emails set up inside of these autoresponders, what happens? Like magic, they start receiving your messages, right? So you don't have to worry about following up with your leads. Now that's pretty cool, right? If you think that's cool, put a 1 in the chat box, because I'm about to show you something that's even cooler. Only one person thinks it's cool? Okay, there we go. Maybe there's a delay. All right, North, check this out. I just seen North. I haven't seen you in a long time. All right, check this out. You ready? Here we go. It's about to get so cool. Do you see what this little button right here says? It says configure auto call. So let me show you what that is without any drum rolls or anything like that, any fanfare. You turn this on, you select your phone number and your from number and your time zone and the times of the day that you want you to be available. Any lead that comes into your system from Facebook will automatically, call you first. You'll get a call from our system. It'll just call your phone. So let's say this was your number. It's 702-577-1273, which by the way is my office line. If anybody wants to call me on that line and just, get some help, or you want to pick up a Prospector or whatever, you can call there. So anyways, the system will first call me on my line, and I'll notice it's coming from my system because I know my number, right? So I'll get the phone call, I answer it, and it'll say, you have a lead. Press 1 to accept your lead, right? As soon as I press 1, the system will then call the person who just opted in from Facebook and connect us. Boom. So do you know why that's so powerful? Well, first off, if you think that's cool, say, oh, wow. And if you don't think that's cool, let me tell you why it's cool, because this is something that's going to blow your mind. Well, it's not really going to blow your mind. I think at this point I probably already did. So when you get a lead, the hottest time to contact a lead is, ready? Drum roll. Instantly. Every minute that you hold back, every minute you wait, every hour you wait, every day you wait, that lead gets colder and colder and colder and colder and colder. William says, oh, wow, that's new. Yes, William, it's brand new. See, it's so cool. William's a white label. He just happened to pop in here and see something cool that we just added. We add all kinds of stuff all the time. This is just one of the things that we just added, and I haven't gotten a chance to get it out to everybody, but I will. It's literally like fresh. But the reason why this is so cool is, like, you don't have to worry about dialing your leads. You don't even have to pay attention. You can just have the system set up. The auto, okay, so Be High asked me to explain it again, so I will. So when a lead comes in from Facebook, here's your Facebook lead ad. They click subscribe, they click submit, information comes in, boom, they hit success, okay? And as soon as that lead is added into the system, a couple things can happen. First, Eric asked, is this only with Facebook? Actually, today it is, but in about 3 days, we'll have it set up with any of our lead forms. Also, GoToWebinar. Imagine this, right? I just set you guys up inside of GoToWebinar. Imagine this. If I wanted to, I could have a sales team set up, taking all my opt-ins from GoToWebinar and just calling you and saying, hey, thanks for registering for the webinar. Just wanted to make sure that, we sent over this new, this PDF to explain what we're going to be talking about, whatever, right? There's all kinds of applications there, but yeah, it's going to work for all of the lead integrations that we have in our system. We just started with Facebook because I wanted to be like, a big splash. Okay. But anyways, so the lead comes into the system. You can have, our system allows you to set up unlimited voicemail follow-ups, unlimited text message follow-ups, unlimited email follow-ups, which means, what a follow-up means is it's going to send them messages until they respond. When they respond, messages stop. So if you had 100 messages set up, you could set up 1,000 messages, and it took them 5,000 or 599 messages to finally to respond, then they would stop getting messages on the 600 message. They wouldn't get it. Okay. I know that's overkill. I've never sent out that many messages, but that's the way that works. So that's the first thing. The second thing, which is what you're looking at here, the auto call configuration, I turned it on when I went into, and I'll just back up here, go into my system, go in and click on auto or configure auto call, turn it on. And basically what will happen is when that lead comes on, if it's during these specific times, which is set to my whatever time zone I want. So if I want to send these calls to somebody I have in a different time zone, I could set their time zone here. But if it's between these time zones when I'm willing to take the calls, then when a lead comes in through Facebook, as soon as the lead comes in, our system will call me, right? It'll call the agent, which is me, and it'll play me a message when I answer, hey, you have a lead, press 1 to take the call. And then when I press 1, the system will call the lead and connect us. Is that cool or what? So now you can offer this to your clients too, because check it out. If you're doing leads for your customers and you say, hey, I'm going to do automatic transfers to you, now you can kick it up a notch, right? So check it out. Because each of the fan pages can have its own configured settings for auto call, all you got to do is set up their fan page in here, set up their configuring their auto calls, set up their drip campaigns. If you just use the system to follow up on the leads you sold your customers, you'd make more money. Yes, it's not really a whisper, but it's a kind of a whisper, right? I guess it is. It just says, hey, you have a lead, press 1. Yes. Pretty cool though, right, guys? So yeah, that's one of the things that we do that nobody else is doing. We have tons of stuff like that. So let's see here. What else is cool? William says this works for auto dealers too. Yeah, it'll work for auto dealers. It'll work for anybody that you can run Facebook ads for. We just rolled this out, so I can't give you like any case studies on how well it works, but I know it's going to work because I know what kind of response I get on my ads, and I know that if I call my ad faster, then I'm going to get them on the phone, right? I mean, that's a no-brainer. Can anybody, if you think there's a no-brainer, put no-brainer in the text, because think about it. If you generate a lead and don't call, you're wasting your money. And it's like, the reason why most people don't call their leads is because they just get caught up doing other stuff. Well, this eliminates that. This eliminates it 100% because you're not calling them. The system is. And if you don't want to take the lead, let's say you're busy, you got to call. Or maybe you're just like so good at Facebook ads like I am that you just get so many leads, so you'd have so many calls, you just wouldn't know what to do with yourself, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'm sick and tired of closing deals. So if you get sick and tired of closing deals and you get the call, just don't answer it. Or answer it and don't accept it. You can do whatever you want. But that's cool. It gives you the ability to let the system do what it's supposed to do, work. And you do what you're supposed to do, sell. So does anybody here do any outbound dialing? Speaking of dialing, because I'd love to say that all my business comes from Facebook leads and I just sit around all day and nothing, just take calls and close deals on Facebook. Anybody here closing deals on or making cold calls or any calls for that matter? I got one. One should be enough for me to show this other cool thing, but I just want to see if there's any. Nobody else calls? Why? If you don't cold call, tell me why you don't cold call. William says no cold calls. Somebody tell me why they don't cold call, because that is such a shame. You're missing out on so much money. If it's because, I'll tell you what, I'll just answer. If you're not cold calling because it seems like it's just not efficient, well, I'm going to help you with that today, okay? So this is our auto dialer system, okay? What this does, a power dialer, what it does is it allows you to dial campaigns for automatically, right? You click a button and it literally will dial your leads for you. And you can talk to the person and then disposition a lead and it'll go to the next lead automatically. So somebody here said time consuming as one of the answers of why they don't. And that saves the time, right? I mean, normally if you're going to make cold calls, you've got to sit there and dial everybody's number one after another, after another, after another. And it's like, if you dial the number by hand, you might make a mistake and you got to dial it again. Or if you're using Skype, you got to dial in the dial pad, and that's time consuming and frustrating. And I mean, there's just all these different reasons why, it can be time consuming. Clicking one button and sitting here waiting for the lead to pop up. Okay, look, I'll just show you. So here we go. This is what it looks like on the inside, right? You click on the start button here, and this person, Annie, it will automatically call. Now let's say Annie doesn't answer the phone and I get her voicemail. How long does it take to leave a voicemail? Anyone? 60 seconds, roughly, right? Well, if you click this button here, you can select a template that you want to leave, and it'll automatically leave that message and go to the next call. So you just save 60 seconds. Now, you're probably saying, well, who cares 60 seconds, Mark? I mean, I got plenty of minutes in the day. I agree, right? But if you're trying to reach as many businesses as possible, and we know 85% of the people you call are not going to answer, right? That's the reason why a lot of people think it's time consuming or inefficient. 85% of the people don't answer. So look, let's take 100 calls. That's 85 voicemails, and you saved 85 minutes in a day. Take 85 minutes times, how many work days are there in a month? 20? So 20 work days. You save 1,700 minutes a month. Saves over a year 20,400 minutes. That's just off of leaving a voicemail automatically. Now, I also, and this is another pitch because I'm going to pitch you something. That's how I do things. We offer virtual assistants that do this for you. So if you want somebody to make your calls, we have trained virtual assistants that they're not just trained to make calls in our system. They're actually trained like to be aggressive, with setting up appointments and helping you get, response. But think about that. You save 20,400 minutes a year. What is that? Divided by 60. That's 340 hours. Can anybody think of how many weeks is that? I mean, is that not staggering? Please. Like that's ridiculous. What would you do with 340 hours? That's 14 days. That's a vacation. A good one. 2-week vacation. Who could use a vacation here? And is this mic on? I don't think anybody gets that, right? That's just one simple thing I just showed you. One simple thing. I just saved you 14 days of your life a year. You want to know why you don't have time? Because you're not efficient. And that's only if making 100 calls a day. And by the way, with this system, you hit the start button, you can make 100 calls in 2 hours, 3 hours, right? 4 hours, maybe, max, depending on the leads. Okay? So what I'm trying to get at is like, cold calling is not a bad deal. Now, the next thing somebody said, negative feedback. Well, I have to disagree on that because I'll tell you why. If somebody doesn't want to hear from you, that's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to waste their time. The reason why somebody doesn't want to hear from you, honestly, is you. They don't like something you're doing. You may not have the right tone. You may not have the right cadence. You may not be, there's 3 things. Anybody ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street? Wolf of Wall Street? Yes. Okay, good. So there's a guy named Jordan Belfort. He has these 3 things that you need to do. I love giving credit where credit's due. Jordan's a great salesman, and he's actually cleaned up his act too, which is cool. But there's 3 things that you need to do on every single call if you want your cold calls to go off without a hitch. And by the way, I cold call and I get paid to cold call. I make so much money from a cold call. You can go on my YouTube channel. I've closed $5,000 one-call closes on YouTube. Okay, so for those people that say don't cold call, they don't cold call or whatever, that's fine. Save the money for me. I'm cool with it. I'll call them. But here's the 3 things that Jordan says. Number 1, you got 4 seconds to make a good first impression on the phone. 4 seconds. So in 4 seconds, you need to portray that you're A, sharp as a tack, B, enthusiastic as hell, and 3, You ready? A force to be reckoned with, or a authority figure. Those are the three things. And if you sound like this person, why do you want to be sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as hell, and sound like a authority figure when you make a call? Why? Because the person who answers the phone will respect you, and they will get the impression that you can help them. So if you call somebody and they don't want to talk to you, then look inward. What are you saying? How do you sound? If you don't have your stuff together, then of course you're going to get a negative feedback. But somebody like me, I stay positive just like I am here. I mean, just because it's not a cold call doesn't mean I'm in any advantage. I mean, I could come here and sound like a moron. You guys could all leave, right? So cold calling is not a bad thing. It's great. And if you're efficiently doing it, you have a system like this that makes the calls. You make a lot of money doing it, and you don't have to do it all day long. Just a few hours a day. If you do that consistently every single day, and you're leaving voicemails. Now look, back to that thing that I just told you about, saved you 14 days of your life with just leaving a voicemail. Let's say that you left 85 messages a day times 5 days a week. Ready? I'm about to blow your guys' mind. Ready? That's 100 calls a day, leaving 85 messages a day. That's 425 messages a week times 52 weeks a year. That's 22,100 voicemails. Is everybody with me? Put a 1 if you're with me so far. Because if not, I'll just end this thing now and go back. I got some other stuff I can do. Okay, cool. So you just left 22,100 messages. Now, these aren't voicemail drops. These aren't like the Ringless voicemail drops like everybody's selling, and we do that in our system. These are manual messages. Why are these better than a Ringless voicemail? Well, because these are going to be allowing you to deliver a message to people who you wouldn't normally be able to deliver to. Because a Ringless voicemail cannot go behind a gatekeeper, right? It cannot go behind a press, a phone tree. Can't do that. But you can manually navigate through there and drop a message when you get to voicemail because you're going to get one. So if you left 22,100 messages a year, does anybody know what the average callback rate is on messages? Anyone care to guess? Don't Google it. Don't cheat, because I know everybody wants to Google it so they can get the right answer. Don't Google it. Anybody care to guess? Jay said 30%. I wish. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I think that would be phenomenal. But no, it's not that. Anyone else? Rick says 10%. That's still great. Jay says 5%. Very close. Now we'll Google it. Average voicemail response. It's like 4%. Here it is. The average right there, 4.8%. That's according to Inside Sales. So Jay, almost right on the money, 4.8%. Okay? So let's go back to our little thing here that we're talking about. 22,000 messages. Let's say your message is horrible. Let's say you can't get a 4.7% response because you just aren't good at messages. You didn't take Mark Helton's School of Messaging. That's fine. Okay? Times times, let's say you get 2%. You're half as good as everybody else. I hate it when I hit the wrong buttons. 2,800 times 2%. Ready? Boom. 456 calls a year. A year. Let's divide that up over 52 weeks. That's 876. That's almost 9 calls a week. Now, guys, who here gets 9 calls a week right now from people returning their messages? Anyone? From businesses that actually listen to your message and are interested in hearing from you. Anyone here? Anyone gets 9 calls a week? That's 40 calls a month. Anyone? Any light bulbs starting to go off? The reason why I consistently close business, and it's funny, I hear people say, because I get excuses from everybody about why their business is struggling. I'm struggling because fill in the blank. Mark, you can do it because fill in the blank. The reason why I consistently close business is because I do this consistently. Now look at this. I'm going to show you some cool stuff, right? Because I have a team of people working in here. So this system is actually set up for team members. So if I go in here to my team report, I can manage my team. Actually, they haven't been calling this week because we're doing some training. But I can manage my team numbers right here. I can see what they're doing. So I can see how many calls, how many minutes that my people are making. Look at my virtual assistants in the Philippines here. Isabel, she made 224 outbound calls, 170 minutes talk time. She averages 2 minutes. That's what this is. This outbound average time between calls, 2 minutes between calls. That's actually a really good metric to measure, because if you have somebody who's making calls for you, and they're like making calls and they're like, look at this rep here. This is actually an inbound. This is a rep that works in my office, and she doesn't necessarily just call leads. But if she was just cold calling, oh boy, I would have a problem with this. Her gap time, we call it a gap time. Her call gap time is 5 minutes. No, that's not good. If you got why do you need to spend 5 minutes between calls when you have a system where you click a button and it goes to the next call automatically, right? But basically what I'm getting at here is you can measure everything that's happening. So the reason why, like I said, that we do better than most is because we actually eat our own dog food. We can continuously do this stuff on a daily basis. Look, Richie, she made almost 200 calls, 150 minutes of talk time. And look, you can see the difference. She was logged in for the same amount of time. Do you see how much of a difference this gap made? She's got a 2.73 call gap rate. That's too high. It really should be right at 2. But look, I'm sorry, this one here made about the same amount of calls. She had a little bit more calls, but she had a much lower call gap time. And look at the difference in call time. That's 20 minutes. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Mark, that's 20 minutes. Why are you being such a stickler? Remember, take 20 minutes times 5. That's 5 days a week, right? Times 52. That's 52,000 minutes a year. I look at everything like annualized. That's 52,000 minutes a year. Time, or divided by what? 60 minutes, or 60 minutes in an hour. That's 86 hours. That's a lot of time. Think of it this way. How many hours, if you're paying somebody $15 an hour, or let's say it's $10 an hour, right? That's $800 for 20 minutes of measly. This person was only 20 minutes less in talk time a day. And talk time means like how much time they're engaged with customers. If I can bump her talk time by 20 minutes a day, I've basically saved $860, just like that. But anyways, that's what I'm talking about when I say, making calls, measuring the metrics. Those things are what's going to help you be successful. So anything you guys want to see? I know I'm just kind of rambling here, but let's ask this question. I've always wondered if there's something that some kind of outbound marketing thing that somebody would want that they wonder if our system does. Let's see if they can stump me. Anything? I don't know. That might be a bad idea. Mark, can this work for B2C? Yes. As a matter of fact, it's perfect for B2C. That's what we primarily focus on. Oh, let's talk about TCPA compliance and stuff, since we're talking about B2C. We integrate with the National Do Not Call, scrub the National Do Not Call list. We integrate with a company called DNC.com. So in order to do this, all you have to do, click on this, put in your project code, put in your project title, enter in your organization ID. If you don't have an org ID, you can go to the FTC, website and sign up for one for free. And then you add that in there, and then boom, you can scrub your leads. Now, if you're in Canada, we don't actually do that in Canada. It's only for US, but that's just a simple little integration to scrub all your leads to make sure you're not calling people on the do not call list. We also integrate with all these other people here. You see, we've got Wufoo, GoToWebinar, Facebook, Velocify, Stealth Seminar, Lead Mailbox, EverWebinar, Salesforce, Infusionsoft, Zoho, LeadPop, Zillow, all these, Active Campaign, all those integrations. So are you calling to speak to a person or leave a voicemail? William, great question. Yes. I'll take both. I'll take both of those. If somebody answers the phone, that's really what I want. I want to close the deal. If somebody doesn't, then if I get their voicemail, I want to leave them a message. So many people say, you know, don't waste your time leaving messages. It takes time. Right. Don't waste your time leaving messages. Click a button and go to the next call. And those people that call back, like if you get a 2% response, I just showed you what that looks like over the year. I mean, that's 40 calls a month. I mean, like what happens if you took 40 calls? You ready for this? Like I didn't even like do the math, like 40%. What do you think? What's a good closing percentage, Christopher? What's a good closing percentage, Eric, North, William, somebody? Throw something in here. Jay. For like an inbound call up somebody who heard a message. Come on, let's be realistic, right? These are somebody who's calling, they got questions, but they heard a message, right? Jay says 7%. That's 2.8 deals. 2.8 deals. Now, let's say the average deal that you sell is worth, I don't know, let's go low. Let's say it's not a lot. My lifetime customer value is way high. I mean, because we charge a lot of stuff. We charge for our services. We're not cheap. We don't give stuff away. But because we know we're valuable and we provide a good response for our customers, they make money. So we're not cheap, but we're the best. But let's just say that you did that. That's $1,400 a month at a $500 client or deal value over the course of a year. That's $16,800. Is it worth it? Just off of leaving a voicemail, it takes you 2 seconds to click. Is that ROI worth it? Jay says yes. And that's 7%. My LTV is not 500% or $500, Eric. No, like way higher than that. Way, way, way higher than that. I won't say what it is because I'm private about that, but it's good. My LTV is real good. So the point is, though, basically what I'm getting at with this, if somebody had an LTV, if somebody had a $500 LTV or their loan lifetime value, then you'd be looking at 16 G's. But look, if your number is 4 times that, which that should be a more realistic number. Let me just talk about 70 grand just off of inbound calls. Again, that's not enough to like save your life, but can anybody figure out a way to spend 70 grand? You could take that 70 grand and dump it into some Facebook ads. And again, we're just talking about inbound calls from voicemails. I'm not, so when everybody tells me, Mark, or asks me, what's the magic button? Like, what do I need to do to generate more business? Again, my answer is always going to be yes, everything. Do it all. Make outbound calls, send out some cold emails with a actually, I don't call it a cold email. I call it a voicemail, a follow-up email to a cold call or a warm call, basically. My calls are warm because I know who I'm calling and I know what I'm calling about, and I'm calling specifically to help one person who I know I can help. So my calls are warm. But then I'll follow up with a, hey, can I send you some message or information, and then send it over an email. William says, I wanted to know how to set up a free trial to use the system if there's time. You know what? That would be a webinar for resellers, but actually I'm going to do one of those. Matter of fact, the reason why I did this today was just because I was sitting here just thinking about like how cool it would be if I just started jumping on and doing these things and just showing you guys a bunch of cool stuff and talking about stuff. So I just wanted to see what kind of response we would get. I mean, I didn't expect really that many people to show up. So we'll do something for you, William, and other white labels that are in here. Something else I was going to show you. Let's talk about some other cool stuff here. So let's say that you got a big old list of leads that you got to opt in to something on Facebook or something online, and you didn't have any phone number for them. You just had emails. Does everybody see this thing where it says advanced caller statistics? Actually, it's our advanced contact statistics, right? You all see that, right? You see how it's got these graphs here at the bottom: single, married, male, female, age, education, has kids. So what this is when a lead comes into our system, we automatically can look them up. We can look up and automatically populate all this information about them. So we can find out if they're married, if they're single, if they're male or female, what their age is, if they graduated college, or if they have kids, do they own a home, what's their income, what's their net worth. And on top of that, and this is all off of a phone number or an email. I can look them up off a phone number and email. So if you have a phone number, you don't have an email, that's fine. We can find their email. If you have a phone number, you don't have their name, we can find their name and their address. So this is cool. Like if you're doing some stuff online, advertise, as if you're doing any ads online, the more things you ask for, the less people are willing to fill out your ad, so your conversions will drop, right? Well, if you just turn on our advanced contact statistics when the lead comes in, it'll automatically populate that information for you. Christopher says, how accurate is the phone number or the information from the phone number? It's about 70%, which is getting better every day. And I'll tell you, 70% is much better than zero, right? I'd rather have 70% of $100,000 than zero. So that's that advanced contact statistics. It's really cool too. It's like you can do it a couple of ways. You can either create an inbound campaign, which an inbound campaign, for those of you, because we didn't really talk about this, but an inbound campaign, what it is like it's your inbound phone system, like a phone tree. So somebody calls in, you can set up a greeting. Matter of fact, this is the inbound campaign. You just name it, select your group, your phone number. If you want to get, voicemail notifications, you turn that on. You can record all your calls. You can add a contact automatically when they come in. You could turn on that advanced caller ID that I was just talking about. And, once you click submit, what it does is it'll open up our call flow, which looks like this. And then you could just drag over the options you want. So like in this case, when somebody calls this number, I have it set up to call my sales line, which calls all my salespeople at once. And if they're on the phone, like let's say all of them are busy, it puts them in queue, and then my sales reps can pick them up when they're, after they hang up with whoever they're on the phone with. But anyways, it calls all my salespeople, and then if my salespeople are busy or they just never come to the phone, it can take them to voicemail. Okay. The other option would be doing a greeting. Press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, press 3 for to leave a message, or just straight to voicemail or whatever. But these are our IVR options. Okay. So inbound call comes in, you turn on that advanced caller ID, and voila, like magic, that information's populated. Now, who sells stuff to businesses here? Everybody here, right? Who wants an easy way to make some money off of something that doesn't take no time at all? Did you see how long it took me to? Rick says yes, I do. I mean, I'm all about that. I've showed you guys like 2 different ways today to make, at least 2 or 3 different ways to make money with businesses, right? Here's another easy way. You go into a business and you tell them what I just told you. Hey, when your customer calls in, wouldn't you like to have their name, their email, their address. Wouldn't you like to know a little bit more about them? Like, are they married? Do they have kids? What do they make? All that stuff. Now, even if it's a restaurant, they want to know that. Why? Well, because your demographics of who your customers are very, very important. It's very valuable, right? So if you're advertising on Facebook and you know that all your customers are males that, graduated college and, have, don't have kids, then why would you be marketing to men who are married? Or why would you be marketing to females that are married with kids, right? You wouldn't. So you can go into your companies and say, look, I'm going to make your phone caller ID turn from, nothing into magic. Matter of fact, let's see if I can show you this. Check it out. Oh, hello there, Mark. Sorry, that's a video. I thought I had a flyer here I could show you. Yeah, here we go. This is the flyer that we made because it's very easy to explain. So what if you took the caller ID, your phone number, and turned it into that, right? And then on top of that, you can still run Facebook campaigns. Like, think about this for a second. Okay, well, let me back up just a bit. You could send voicemails, responses, you could send text messages, you could send emails, you could do all those things. But then on top of that, you can set up a Facebook audience. So for those of you that do Facebook ads, you could set up a Facebook audience with our Facebook integration. I'm not going to click in here and show you, but if I added a group, I attached a group to this custom audience, check it out. Every call that comes in, not only do you provide them with all that information, but you also will add them into that custom audience so then they can start getting ads as well. Now, if you're doing Facebook ads, you know that those ads are those audiences are very powerful because not only will it allow you to market to people who are actually reaching out to your business because they're targeting somebody who's actually calling, but you could also do what? You can create a lookalike audience off of people who call your business. Why wouldn't you want to talk? The best person to prospect to is somebody who does a specific thing that you want them to do. And if somebody's calling your business, that's a lead. That's somebody who's doing who you want. So Facebook does lookalike audiences and will help you find people that look like that type of person. So there doesn't take many calls, inbound calls, for them to be able to generate enough of a custom audience for them to be able to build a lookalike audience that can help you, help them with their Facebook ads. Does anybody think that's cool? If you think that's cool, say that's cool. I showed you guys just a handful of things, but every one of these things can be done inside the system, and you can go into a business with this system and literally sell them anything. You could say, I'm going to send calls and text messages and emails to your customers. I'm going to, drive inbound calls to you from, fill in the blank. I'm going to take all your calls that come into your business and I'm going to enhance the caller ID. So instead of a phone number, you got, where is it? Instead of a caller ID, with a phone number and not knowing who called, you have their name, their email, their phone number, their address, their income, their Twitter account, or whatever. Like everything. Somebody asked their birthday. It doesn't get their birthday, but it'll tell you how old they are. But you can go in and do that. And on top of that, I'm going to also build you a Facebook custom audience so you can make money on Facebook the right way. Yeah, push to the CRM, absolutely. Because check it out, guys. Hot Prospector is a CRM. For those of you that were in here earlier, I mean, look, this is what our system looks like on the inside. This is our CRM. So you could see, all the information about your client. You can capture all the custom fields that you want. You can add as many as in there as you want. You can check and see what text messages you sent, what emails you've sent, what voicemails you've left, any inbound calls that you've received, any outbound calls that you've made. You can see their address, right? You can see them. Actually, if you had an address in here, it would show you where they lived, like on this Google map, like right there. If they have an email that's attached to, I forget what they call that, but you know, like where there's like a social profile attached, their picture would show up here. And then over here, you can add notes, as many notes as you want, and all those are stored here. You can send text messages, like if you have a template you want to send, just click it, send it. You can send emails the same way. You can transfer calls. If you are like trying to transfer something, to transfer a call to somebody, you could transfer a call. You could track your pipeline, your deal status pipeline. So you could set your own deal statuses for each stage of your pipeline, your sales pipeline, and you can assign confidence ratings, values, estimated close dates to your lead. So that way you know how much money you got working. You can book an appointment, literally click a button, select your calendar, automatically populates the contact, and then click add. I mean, who sets appointments that easily with the right kind of lead? You can set a lead appointment for somebody else. I mean, I just click appointment, add appointment, done. You can create tasks on your lead. So if you want to schedule a callback task or follow-up or whatever, you can do that there. You can move a lead to a different copy or move a lead to a different group. All that stuff is done with just a click. Now, how about this? I was talking about that sales pipeline, right? Here's that sales pipeline. Now, this is where I get excited. I'm going to show you why I get excited doing what I do. And we're marketing specifically to loan officers right now, which is crushing it. If anybody here wants to be a white label and you want to get involved with our lender program, we have a lender program that we're rolling out this year, which is really, really powerful. Okay. This thing is just beastly. It's full on two different marketing pieces, actually 3 different ways to market to businesses with the system. We got everything you need. We've got follow-up sequences for the lender. Like we have like purchase sequences, refi sequences, and we're not talking about like 10 messages here. We're talking like 50 messages, 40 messages that are automatically sent out for these lenders. We have ways to generate leads like instantly for lenders. But check it out. So this is our sales pipeline. Click on it. Let's say I'm like, how many people do I have right now that are that I've run a demo for of my system? All I got to do is click on it, and voila, there they are. I can see how much potential volume I have is closing. I can see all the leads that are in there. If I want to call somebody, I could just click on them, and bam, there I am. I could just go in there, click on the button, and call this person. Send a text message, send an email, add a note of what happened, change the opportunity, right? Let's say I got off the phone with them and he went from a 40% to 90%, right? Boom. I could do that. Okay. But I was just showing you the pipeline here. That's like, I can see my own pipeline, but let's say you have a team. You have a bunch of people working with you. Literally, you can go in here and select whatever status you want. So like, I want to see everybody that's in demo status for, let's see Talani. Nothing. Okay, well, let's see what all she has. Hold on. So she has 9 deals in her pipeline. And she's got $4,000 in her pipeline. And if I wanted to know when their specific dates are of when they're going to close, I can easily see that. So, Aletta, how long do you believe it would actually take to actually learn and truly learn this system? It truly is a beast, but part of it makes it feel intimidating. But boy, it seems complete. You know what? I'll give you the answer. And hopefully I'm not saying your name wrong. I apologize if I am. Aletta. I don't know if that's right. But the answer to your question is this. It's not about learning everything. It's about learning 2 or 3 things that will make you money really quickly, and then getting better and better and better every day. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Because most people focus on, they get this thing and they're like, wow, I need to learn every button. Well, yeah, you do, because that's going to make you very powerful marketer, because our system does so much. And you're right, it is complete. It's more than complete. There's nothing on the planet that does what Hot Prospector does. And we make sure that that stays that way. We consistently make sure we push the bar. I mean, if you came in late, you probably missed our Facebook auto call feature. Nobody's doing that in a system like this with the complexity, or the completeness that we have with our follow-ups and automation. Nobody. Okay. But yeah, so the answer to your question is just 1 or 2, 3 things. Start off with that, make some money with the system, and then think about the upsell opportunities. You bring one customer in to do one thing. Let's say you bring them in just to do, just send out voicemails and text messages to their past customers. That's an easy foot in the door. Who wants to know another easy model to make money? Of course, you're all going to say yes, right? I just got to ask. Yes? Okay, good. Here's another easy way. Go in and say, I want to give you a free campaign to reach out to all your past customers and tell them, thank you for your business. Just wanted to reach out and say thanks. Now, we did this during the holiday season, sending out messages for Christmas, sending out message for New Year's. Matter of fact, it's still not too late to send out a Happy New Year message. You could do that for the next couple of weeks. It's still good, right? But you go in and that's your foot in the door. Hey, let's send out a message to all your customers and tell them Happy New Year for free. That costs you what? Let's say they have a couple thousand people on their list, 5,000 people on their list. What does it cost you? 30, 40 bucks, 50 bucks. Would you pay $50 to get a customer that can pay you $2,500 a month? That's a no-brainer, right? Let us set all day, right? Well, there you go. That's your easy foot in the door strategy that nobody will say no to, because you're going to sell it like this. You're going to say, listen, I'm going to message all your customers, and I want you to record the message, Mr. Owner, Mrs. Owner. I want you to be able to touch base to all your customers and tell them thank you for their business. Because you know what that's going to do? Number one, they're going to respond back and be very thankful, thanking them. But number two, imagine this. You're sitting there talking to your friend, and, let's say it's a florist or something, and you're just chatting about florists, and someone says, they were going to send some flowers to their wife for their anniversary. And you say, you know what? You should use John, my florist over at, ABC Florist. This guy sends me or calls me and leaves me messages and tells me thank you for my business. That kind of thing. That's powerful. Nobody does that. And it's from the owner. Yeah, Rick says you feel important. Absolutely. A voicemail from the owner is way better than a text. Text is good, but that's when you use your voice. Your voice is like it's personal. It's like, man, the owner took the time to reach out. They don't know that they had a message delivered to them without ringing their phone. They just got a message, right? So they thought, John from ABC Florist just called and left him a message. Or how about this? You're a restaurant owner, okay? And somebody comes in to visit you for, has dinner. You have an autoresponder set up in the system. Automatically, the next day, they get a voicemail message from the owner thanking them for stopping in. And just have that on a drip. I mean, you can charge that restaurant a few bucks per one of those messages that go out, because you don't have to do anything but set it up once. Maybe you charge them a few $100 to set it up. And then every day, let's say they get 50 people come in, 50 tables. The owner would never take the time to call 50 people, but they should, because that's how you get referrals, right? So, hey, this is John calling from, John's Italian Bistro. Just wanted to say thank you so much for stopping by. I just really appreciate your business. By the way, next time you come in, bring your friend, and their entree's on me. Are you kidding me? And it's simple to do. It doesn't take much. You just set up a voicemail autoresponder in our system. And when they get a customer come in, they can, either somebody at the front can fill them out, or they can even get them to opt in, right there in the restaurant. Aletta says that's a great idea. Would take hours to input all their information in the system. Yeah, well, no, for them it wouldn't take them any time because our system can do it automatically. There's lots of ways to get it in there, but it's so easy. Now, if somebody had a list and they wanted to send out a message to their 4,000 or 5,000 people, well, all you have to do is go into the contact manager, click on import, and load it into the system. Just click, CSV file, load it right in, and there you go. Brad, can you do opt-in of email and phone on their website? Yes, we have lead forms right here. So you can actually build a lead form. I'm just going to show you what a lead form looks like. So we have lead forms with a widget URL, which basically means you go to the URL, and this is like a, a responsive form. So if you look at it on a website or on a desktop, it looks horrible, and on a phone, it's small. All right, so that's one thing. You can take this JavaScript code and embed it on their site, or you can take the HTML code and put it on their site. And then when the lead comes in, like you said, that information goes into the system automatically. Now, for those of you that missed this earlier, I was talking about this auto call feature. Check this out. So let's say you have a roofing contractor client or something like that, and they put this lead form I just showed you on their site, right? Right now, this only works with Facebook, but it's going to work on our lead forms and everything in about 3 days. Like it's done. We just have to implement it. But basically, you turn on this auto call. Check this out. You turn on the auto call, and if somebody fills out a form on their site, as soon as that form is filled out, if it's between the hours that you want the calls, right, it'll automatically call you on your number, right? You're the agent or whatever person's number you put in here. It'll call you. It'll say, hey, you have a call. Press 1 to accept this call. And when you press 1, then it'll call the lead who filled out that form. So you'll never have to dial another lead again. Not only will you have voicemail, and if they don't answer, which could happen, even though they just fill out the form, they might not have expected you to call that fast. Most of the time they're going to answer. Your response rate, if you call within minutes like that, it's going to go through the roof, right? But if they didn't respond, you still have the voicemails and the text messages and the emails that'll automatically be sent out without you even having to try, right? That's all going to happen. So think about that. You got 15, 20 voicemail autoresponders and text messages and emails that go out automatically until somebody replies. You got automatic calls. You've got broadcasts. You've got SMS. You've got integration with Facebook. You got lead forms. I mean, really? Do I need to keep going on? There's nothing like this. Full reporting, call reporting. All of our calls are recorded. If you want them to be recorded, you can have them, right there in the call report, and you can come in and take a look at them. If you want to run a report on your agents to see specific call dispositions, that report takes a minute to load because it's big report. But while that's loading, let me show you this. Let's see here. Oh, never mind. They're loaded. So check it out. Here you go. You got your calls. So if I wanted to see how my salesperson sounded on the phone, I could click on this and just listen to their call.
You've reached the voicemail for Stacy.
Right? All the calls are tracked. I can run reports on call disposition. So let's say I want to run a report. I'm like, hey, everybody that we called today that we marked a specific disposition, like let's say I want to look at all my leads, right? I just hit filter and boom, all my leads are there. So all these are leads of people who we called and said, yes, I want to talk to somebody, I'm interested, right? That's cool to be able to pull that report anytime you want, right? The other thing I was going to show you guys just a minute ago Oh, this is another cool thing that I love. Jim says, please let us know as soon as that automated caller is implemented on the regular opt-in forms. That's going to be it'll be done this like within a week. I mean, it's just a matter of them turning it on, and so it'll be done quickly. But check this out. So let's say you got people calling in your system, and you want to know like how good are your leads? Are you wasting your money on your callers? We have these call disposition or status reports that tracks what buttons are being clicked, so what your response rate. Now this campaign just started, so there's really not enough data yet. We have 9,500 leads in here, but look, so far they just started calling. This call again status is coming up a lot. Basically what that means for me, I created this disposition. Call again just means, we left them a message and we're going to call them back, or we just decided to call them back for whatever reason. It's not like an actual call again. It's just recycle. That's basically what that means. Left the voicemail. Somebody said they're not interested, right? But you can get a breakdown of your leads, so you can get an idea of like how good your campaigns are working. So if you've got leads that you paid a lot of money for, and why leave it up to chance? Why guess? How good is my X campaign doing? Here, I can check specifically, like, hey, I got 100 leads I bought, and out of those leads, these are the segments that they ended up into. Wait a second, I bought a list of leads from you, and 12 of those leads were bad. You said you were going to give me credit for those 12 leads. Give me my money back on those 12 leads, or give me new leads, right? I mean, that's basically what I'm saying. Like these are the kind of things that you can do, not just for your own business, but for your own client's business. Eric, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the compliment. Anybody else? Not compliments. I wasn't fishing for compliments. All right. Who wants? Oh, wait a second. Rick, do clients have a login? Do clients? Oh, good question, Rick. So so there's a couple of ways that you can do this. If you sign up for a regular account for Hot Prospector, like a regular license of Hot Prospector, like what you're seeing here, a manager license, then you can get team member accounts, which basically would be like little logins for your customers to log into if you wanted. And then they wouldn't see any of your stuff or anybody else's stuff that's in here. They would only see their stuff. But you would have access to all their stuff, and they would be able to log into their own thing, right? So the team members, you can have as many team members as you want to buy in your system. And that's how that works. Now that's one way. The other way is a white label. And with a white label, like you change the logo, you change the brand, you get a back office that tracks how many of these kind of accounts you have. So instead of you setting up members under an account like this, with a white label, you can set up these kind of accounts where people could set up members under them, and you could charge whatever you want for the system, for the campaigns, for whatever. So you could do whatever you want with it. If you're running campaigns, like we have a lot of marketing agencies that use this platform for that. They'll run campaigns for businesses, and they just buy a white label, so that way they have the ability to, track all their stuff very easily. Some white labels use it because they're just running campaigns. We have a lot of people that are doing stuff with automotive, with mortgage, insurance. A lot of the top like B2C niches, business to consumer niches. MLM is big with our system. I mean, if you do MLM and you're looking for leads, why not have a system set up that automatically does it? Right? You get your leads for MLM, and if you're looking for leads, MLM leads. Actually, here's one: MLM lead specialist. These guys, you can buy leads from MLM lead specialists, age leads. Look at that. $250 for 1,000 leads, 7 to 15 day double opt-in leads. They even have more fresher leads than that. So if you're doing MLM, you're like, well, I can't get anybody to join my business. Well, that's because you don't contact enough people, right? Well, with MLM, with this leads company here, or there's a ton of them. I'm not just saying call this one. I'm saying there's a ton of them. But with this, you could literally just grab a list, put it in the system, boom, your phone's ringing. So whatever you sell, whether you're selling, these Bitcoin things are big right now. There's like the water filtration systems. There's, I don't know much about any of the MLM stuff, but there's a ton of it, right? You could use the system for anything. So any questions? And then ask for, can I get a replay? I will try my best. I've been recording it. What I was actually going to do, no, I'm not. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it into YouTube, right? So if you go to my YouTube channel, which is here, and subscribe, I'll throw it in the message here. There. I just added my YouTube link here. So you can go and subscribe to me on YouTube. But when you put it, you can go in here and look this webinar that I did. It's like I've been on here for like an hour or something, or hour and a half. But I do all kinds of videos like this too. Like not as much as I need to. I'm going to start doing more of that this year. That's my goal. But look, you can go in here and learn how to do Facebook marketing with our system. You can learn how to make calls and do the integration with the caller ID enhancement. We got all kinds of videos. Here, I'll just click on videos. Look at that. All kinds of good stuff. So if you're looking for content, there's no shortage of content here. There's tons of good stuff on YouTube. Working with a travel MLM with lead ads, hoping to break through the entire downline. Hey, that would be awesome, Christopher. Christopher's a white label. So how many people are in that download or downline, Christopher? By the way, I wouldn't go after the downline as much as I'd be trying to go after the upline. Because if you get into the upline, then it goes down, 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 way down. 30 people or 30,000? So, like, just to give you an idea, one of my clients who just signed up with us, and I dropped this in our Facebook mastermind for our white labels. And by the way, for those of you that are considering being a white label, we do. We have like a Facebook mastermind, so you can go in there and see what other people are doing and stuff like that. But one of the guys that's in our system, he's set up. He's up to 300 so far, and he'll be at 500, I'd say, within the next week or so. But 300 he set up so far of our system into this MLM that he's in. 300. Okay. Now he charges $188 a month for just the system. So that's his monthly income off of that, what he's making, $56,400 a month, just off of that. Now, on top of that, Christopher, on top of that, he's also selling a lot of extra credits. I mean, he just started doing this, and he's selling credits like crazy. Like a lot of these people are just, because he's in an MLM, he's showing him his system of how he's doing things. So he's not just giving them access to the system. He actually built like a follow-up sequence for them with emails and text messages and voicemails that's completely like dialed in for that MLM that he does. This guy was really smart, right? I mean, really smart. But look at that, $56,400 a month. 5,000 or 56,000. That's the comma's not in the wrong place. $56,400 a month times 12. That's $676,000 a year. Anybody in here look to make an extra $676,000 a year? Yeah, Christopher, I'm saying this because I don't think NN said not me. You don't want an extra 676. That's funny. 1.6. Hey, there you go. But look, I mean, this is, and I'm talking about an extra 6.6. I'll take an extra 1.6 too. But But basically what I'm getting at is he only got 300 users paying him $188. It's $56,000 a month. It's not hard when you break into like an MLM or something like that. It's got a huge organization. And if you have a system like this that does all those things, because the biggest problem with most of those businesses is contacting leads and finding leads and getting people to talk to, right? So he built like an entire follow-up sequence, like multiple follow-up sequences. Hang on one second. My wife is calling. I got to answer this. Anyways, I don't normally do webinars this late, so I don't think she was kind of shocked to hear this, but I was on a webinar. Anyways, but yeah, guys, you see the power? Who sees the power? All right, cool. So anyways, this is not like this webinar wasn't meant to be like any kind of a pitch fest or anything like that, but I figured I would just geek out and show you all the stuff that it does. So if you have the Hot Prospector already and you're just like, this is cool, I'm so excited. I'm glad you showed me this. You're welcome. If you don't have Hot Prospector yet, and you're like, man, I need this. Who's that? If you're watching this right now and you're like, man, I don't have this system, but I need it because it's going to help me make money. Then go ahead and say, please, Mark, contact me. You don't have to say, please, Mark, but just Mark, contact me and put your phone number in here. Put your name and your phone number and say, contact me, and I will. I'll just download this questions box, and I'll pick up the phone and call you tomorrow. Either myself or one of my people here on the team. If you want to pick it up online, you can go buy the system. I'll just show you how to sign up. It's not hard. This is not a hard sell, okay? The system is worth every penny about what I'm about to show you, okay? So this is our site. If you want to sign up, here's how you do it. If you just want to sign up right now, you're like, I need this tool. I want to make money. I want to do this. Give me this system, okay? Just go in here to hotprospector.com, okay? Step one, hotprospector.com. It's hotprospector.com. And then right here, there's a button that says select your package. Just click on that and scroll down. And then we have 4 different packages: email, solopreneur, small business, and elite business. Solopreneur is perfect for somebody like yourself that is by yourself. If you have a team, you want the small business. You get more call credits and text message credits and voicemail credits and all that stuff included when you get the bigger packages. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do for you guys, because I want to make you so happy, besides all the cool training that I just gave you, there's usually a quick start investment required. Because it's the first of the year, I'll waive it for you, and that's a $2,000 setup fee in most cases. Okay, so I'm going to waive that for you. But the $197 a month deal gives you everything that you can ever need. And if you're using software like I used to use, like multiple softwares, maybe you have a pipeline management software like Pipeline Deals or something like that. Maybe you have an email marketing software. Maybe you have a social media software. Maybe you have a CRM. Maybe you have a dialer. Maybe you have a text marketing tool. Maybe you have, I can just keep on listing a calendar management software. Our system does all of that. It replaces everything, and it integrates with everything, and it's all in one. That's the power of our platform that nobody else has. It's like, could you do this, with bolting together other tools? Yeah, but it's going to cost you a whole lot more money, and it's not going to work the way you want. Because you could go and sign up for multiple systems and then use Zapier or something and try to bolt them together to try to get what you got. But The problem is Zapier connections don't always work right. And you got to learn how to set up webhooks, and there's just a bunch of hassle, right? So our system out the box does it all. $197 a month, no contract. And I'm confident that when you sign up for a system, that you will not ever look at your prospecting the same. I mean, think of it this way. If you did half as good with the system as some of the people that I just showed you tonight, just half as good, the only problem that you would have is that I didn't do this webinar sooner. Aletta says, I can see it working for me, but I don't know about the time commitment that's necessary to learn / activate. I understand you start up the necessary stuff first. Very interesting, though. Would you need something like Sprague's Lead Kahuna to gather phone numbers for leads? I'm so glad you brought that up, Aletta. Who wants a free lead finder? Just dropped it into the chat. Go sign up. There you go. Solved. There's your lead finder. But this is the best lead finder out there. Why? Well, number one, it's free. All you gotta do is just click sign up, right? That's part of it. But the other cool thing about this is that it finds the leads from Facebook pages. Now, I don't know about you, but I like selling to businesses that understand the value of the internet. Anyone else here like that? So yeah, you could scrape something off of Google or something like that, but the problem is not all those businesses get it. Most of them are just added there by Google. So they're garbage usually. But if you go to the Facebook tool that I just showed you, what happens? They're people who already get it. They took their time to go to Facebook and fill out a form and put their Facebook page up there, and they understand how to do that. So that's valuable. Cool? So there you go, guys. Sign up for that free tool and go get some leads. So, Aletta, the other question that you had about the time commitment, why don't you just get our virtual assistant program? It's like, instead of $197, it's $697. They can also help you use the system. They'll even make calls for you. We can make for $697 a month. We'll do 1,000 phone calls for you. Like everybody who was here earlier, you saw what I was doing with the calls. 85% of your calls are probably going to go to voicemail. That's 850 voicemails. 2% caller back. That's 17 calls just off that. Plus, you'll probably get some live transfers or something from the VA. $697. So it's an extra $500. Yeah. Aletta says, I'm sure the $700 is worth it. Good to know that I could work towards that. Yeah. I mean, the reason why we offer those things is because, like you said, sometimes people don't have the time, but our system's really not that hard to learn. And if you need help, call our support. You want to see something that you don't normally see? Look. Let me go to the home page here. Look at, I'm going to show you something you don't normally see. This magic 800 number on our website that goes to support. So, I mean, how hard can it be? If you have a problem, you call somebody. You have a question, you can call somebody. We're here to help. So if you're positive at this point you want it, just go over here, click on the select your package, come over here, pick a package, click sign up, fill out your information for your account, click submit, and go to the next step, put in your credit card information, and then within the morning, you should, right around the morning time or something, you should get your account activated. And you can start making money. Mike, how much is a white label? We have 3 options available for white label. Option 1 is our basic account. This is just basically like here, when you go to log in, okay. The basic white label gives you a login screen as your website with your logo, your domain, okay? That's the basic site. Now, you get, let me just show you what a white label looks like. Hold on. All right, so here's a basic one. This is what a basic one looks like. When you log into a white label, it'll take you straight into your system. Whoops, my bad, I made a mistake. Okay, so when you log in as a white label, you get 2 options. You get the manager account, like I just showed you, which is branded and labeled for you, or go into the admin, where you manage your clients, right? And here you can add your clients, you can add manager accounts, you set up your branding, set up packages for what you want to charge for credits, add free credits to your users, whatever you want to do. But that's a white label. So for the basic, like I'm just telling you about, the basic means nothing more than this. You don't get a website, you just get a logo and a domain. This is $3,000 setup and $497 a month. If you want a website like this one, so this is our intermediate package. This is just a 1-page site. It's got some basic information about the system. Okay, 1-page site, goes through like all kinds of details. This is an extra $1,500. So for $4,500, you get that. The monthly is still the same. If you want the Mac Daddy site, this is the hot Prospector special site that I mean, we spent a lot of dough putting this thing together, but it was worth it. I mean, it has, all kinds of great sales copy. We hired a really good sales copywriter to put this together. It literally, it has your FAQs. It's got your blog. You can add your own blog content, products, about, customize all this stuff here. But anyways, if you want this, the total is $6,000, same monthly. Price is still the same. But I mean, look at the content. You're paying for not just the content. Look at this. Testimonial videos, even an overview of the system. Like it's a beastly setup for that. You get everything, all that. So those are the pricing. So if you decide you want to be white label and you're just like, man, I need this. And, we don't go out peddling white labels that much. So it's not like a bunch of people have access to it. It's premium, So it's not like you're going to be out there dealing with a lot of marketing agencies that got this software. Anybody else? Any other questions? Do you discount the account pricing when we sign up new clients? Yeah, Mike, I'm sorry, I didn't go into pricing. So for a white label, you get the amount that you pay a monthly fee of $500 a month. That gets you your first 10 clients included, and then after that, it's just $25 per month per client, per. When I say client, not per client, per login. Okay. So earlier I was telling you about this guy that has the MLM thing. He's charging $188. He pays us $25. So his profit's $163 times 300 users. That's what he puts in his pocket off the licenses. Plus he sells credits. That's his monthly. And he was only with us for 3 months. Now, full disclosure, I'm not saying everybody who signs up as a white label is going to go and put 300 users in there. I mean, you got to have clients. He has clients. He connected with a couple of heavy hitters and put them in, and he's got a bunch more coming. I mean, I'll bet you this guy's going to have 2,000 users in here. And that's just MLM users. So if you're thinking, well, gosh, if he gets in and he's got 2,000 customers, how can I get? Look, the MLM niche is huge. That one niche alone is just, you couldn't compete enough. There's millions of people in that. Millions and millions and millions. There's just so many customers just there. If you're targeting like insurance, I mean, I don't know. How many insurance agents? Anybody know? There's like hundreds of thousands of insurance agents. Maybe there's 1 million. Yeah. 1.1 million insurance agents. Want to target insurance agents? There's a niche that's pretty healthy. How about real estate agents? I think there's like 3 million real estate agents. Oh, I'm sorry. 394,000 real estate agents. How many loan officers? I'm mentioning these names because, or these niches, because they have a very good need, or they have a huge need for our system, and they can make a lot of money with our platform. Doesn't say. Not somewhere easily located, but I know there's, 50,000 loan officers. Probably right around there. But you see what I'm saying? I mean, there's just so much at your fingertips here with as far as niches are concerned. I'm going to take some time to look this over and evaluate what I currently have and what I can eliminate over the next month to see how I can make it make sense for me. So here's the salesman in me, Aletta. Let me ask you a question. What do you need to make it make sense? What are you looking for to justify? Saving money and other things you're spending, or making money with this? Because if it were me, I always look at ROI, return on investment. That's it. I'm only wondering about one thing and one thing only. Can I make money with it? I don't care what I'm spending on other stuff. Now, I can tell you right now that if that's the only thing you're concerned about, then we win. Because there's no way you can tie up as many tools. You couldn't get as many tools as that we provide for $197 a month. Let alone one as powerful as this that can literally put money into your customer's pocket or your pocket virtually overnight, right? So I gave you, 5 different ways, just off the cuff, having fun tonight, just thinking of things. Hey, you could do this. Hey, you could do that. One of the ways was going to businesses and telling them, let me enhance your caller IDs from your customers. Automatically sending out messages when somebody comes into their restaurant. That was the second one. Blasting out thank you greetings. Managing your clients' follow-ups and databases. Sending out text marketing campaigns. I didn't even get into that. We do have full SMS marketing tools built in. So you can do opt-in text messaging sequences. We have something which is really cool. This is one of the things that a guy loves. I'll see if I can show you real quick. This is actually one of the things that guy in the MLM did. That one of the reasons why they're loving this. Check it out. We have these things called conversation campaigns for SMS. So a conversation campaign literally gives you the ability to create a series of questions. So here's one I set up for realtors. And they fill out, actually I put an ad on Facebook. I'm like, hey, if you're a realtor and you want to make more, if you want to sell more homes, text me to this number, right? And then when they text in, they get a question. Hey, it's Mark from Facebook. What's your name? They reply with their name. Boom. That name is automatically stored into our system. Great. And what's your email address? And then, that's it. Then a bunch of questions can pursue. You can ask as many questions as you want. There's no limit. But imagine that. What could you do with that? So many different things. And the guy in the MLM business, he's created his whole funnel that's automating the signups completely from A to Z. So they send out a voicemail to their leads and say, hey, would you be interested in blah, blah, blah? If so, text the word X to this number and, you'll get more information. They do that on a voicemail. So then the person responds back with a text and they're opting in to receive text messages. And not only that, but they can get automatically signed up by all the questions. So he took a guy who had 2 people in his downline when he first joined, and this was during Christmas last week. It was a week before Christmas actually. He ended up with 40 people in his downline during the Christmas holiday in a week, automatically without talking to him, using this thing right here. And this is that conversation campaign. So again, you got to ask yourself, right? Obviously you need all this power. You need all these different things. No matter what you sell, you need to be able to contact people. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth $197 to get access to all these things and potentially, look, one campaign I just mentioned to you, going into a business and saying, hey, I'll run a campaign to all your people and tell them thank you for their business. Thank you for your business. What is that going to do for the restaurant? I'm not going to charge you anything. Matter of fact, it's free of charge. All I want is if you get good work, if you get good results from this, A, I want you to refer me to a few of your friends, and B, I'd like to earn your business. Do you think that business would be willing to do that with you? Aletta says, okay, uncle. I'm just trying to make it make sense. I'm not even trying to sell you. And I think it makes sense, right? $197, right? But think about it. That business is going to say yes for sure. Why would they say no? The only thing they can say at this point is, yeah, okay, I want to, because if they say no, you know what that tells me? They don't care about their clients. They don't care about their customers. Why wouldn't you want to say thank you? Unless you don't care about your customers, right? So it's not going to cost them anything. They do the message with you, and you track the calls that they get back because you have the ability to track the inbound calls. You track any text messages responses that they get. You track any foot, traffic that they get by maybe telling them to make sure you mention this voicemail and I'll give you a free entree, whatever. And that business owner is yours and their friends because you made a deal, right? Maybe you also make another deal. I also want a testimonial. I want a video testimonial. So then the next time you go into a restaurant, you don't have to do that for free. You say, hey, look, this is a video from John over at such and such. I did a campaign for him where we reached out to all of his customers and he just told them thank you for their business. And look, he sold like $2,500 in 3 hours, whatever. That's just an example of restaurants. I mean, there's so many different things you can do. Like literally, the sky is the limit. You have the mastermind. You have the piece or the pieces here. All you have to do is, go tell people you got it. So if anybody else is on the fence, I love handling objections. It's so fun because objections to me are not anything more than just like, help me figure out how I can get my hands on this and use it. And that's what I want to do. I like helping people. So if you got some need and maybe you haven't heard what you need to hear in order to pull the trigger, let me know. Maybe I can help you with that. If you're really itching to get it and you just don't know what to do, you're just like, Mark, help me. Help me. I'll help you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome aboard. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end this for the night because it's like 10 o'clock and I didn't mean to keep everybody up all night, but hey, whatever. It was fun. I got to get home and try to get in bed before midnight again so I can be back here 6 hours later and do it all over again. All right, guys. First of all, again, if you do decide to come on board, just know that we got your back. Not if, when you decide to come on board. We got your back. We're here to help you with anything you need. Setup, support, whatever. And this tool will definitely be the thing that you need in 2018 to kick it up a notch. Or 10. All right? All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you later.